My name is Renee Chapman, and I'm 32 years old. 3 days after my family reunion celebrating my father's 60th birthday, I opened my banking app and saw my savings account balance $0. The week before, it had been 140, 312, 8 years of careful saving for my dream home, gone in an instant. My hands trembled as I called the bank. The customer service representative confirmed what I couldn't believe. The transfer had been authorized by Richard Chapman, the co-owner of the account, my father. When I confronted him, he laughed. "We needed it more than you, Renee. You have a stable job. You can earn it back." I felt something inside me snap. Not break, but unlock. My voice was steady when I replied, "Then you won't mind what's coming next." Before I tell you what happened when that doorbell rang, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story resonates with you. Where are you watching from? What time is it there? Let me know in the comments. But to understand why I made that choice, I need to start from the beginning. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, in what most people would call a comfortable middle-class family. My father, Richard Chapman, spent 32 years as a branch manager at a small regional bank before retiring 3 years ago. My mother, Linda, was a homemaker who believed her primary job was keeping the family together, no matter the cost. From the time I could understand words, I understood one thing above all else. Family comes first. It was stitched into every conversation, every holiday speech, every guilt-laden phone call. Family takes care of family. Those who have more share with those who have less. Blood is thicker than water. My younger brother Derek was 4 years behind me, and somewhere along the way, my parents decided he was the one worth investing in. "Boys need more support," my mother would say. "Derek has potential. He just needs the right opportunities." I learned early that my role was different. I was the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who got scholarships, worked part-time jobs starting at 16, and never asked for anything. When I was 17, my father added his name to my bank account. "Just in case something happens," he said, his banker's voice calm and reassuring. "This way I can help you manage things if there's ever an emergency." I never questioned it. I never removed him. Why would I? He was my father. He would never. That's what I told myself for 15 years. Looking back, I can see how carefully the foundation was laid. Every family first lecture, every time I was praised for being the easy child, every subtle message that my needs were secondary, it was all preparation. I just didn't know what I was being prepared for. Let me show you the receipts. I kept them all, an occupational hazard of being a data analyst. In 2016, when I was 24 and had just been promoted to my first senior position at DataSphere, a tech company in downtown Denver, my parents called. The roof was leaking. They couldn't afford repairs. Could I help? I transferred $15,000. Between 2017 and 2020, Derek's college tuition kept coming up short. Scholarships fell through. Financial aid wasn't enough. Mom cried on the phone about how Derek would have to drop out. I covered $28,000 in tuition gaps. In 2019, Mom was diagnosed with severe rheumatoid arthritis. Insurance didn't cover everything. Dad said they were drowning in medical bills. I paid $12,000. In 2021, Derek had a business opportunity, a real estate investment that was guaranteed to pay off. He just needed startup capital. He'd pay me back within a year. I loaned him $8,000. I never saw a cent of it. Between 2022 and 2024, there were countless emergencies, car repairs, unexpected bills, holiday expenses they couldn't quite cover, another $24,000 piece by piece, total over $87,000 in 10 years. I tracked every dollar in a spreadsheet, color-coded by category, dated by transaction, not because I expected to be paid back, but because that's just who I am. Data is comfort. Numbers don't lie. You know what I never received? A thank you card, a genuine expression of gratitude, even an acknowledgement that I had sacrificed anything at all. What I got instead was, "You have a good job, Renee. You don't have kids to worry about. Family helps family." What I got was the privilege of being the family ATM, while my brother was called the one with potential. Despite everything I gave away, I had a dream. A quiet, persistent dream that kept me going through every extra shift, every declined vacation, every time I talked myself out of buying something nice for myself. I wanted a house, not a mansion, not a showpiece. Just a modest home in the suburbs of Denver with a backyard where I could plant flowers, a living room big enough to host friends, and walls that belonged to me. I started saving seriously when I was 24, right after my first promotion. I set up automatic transfers. I created a separate high-yield savings account. I lived in a modest apartment, drove a 10-year-old Honda, and bought my coffee at home instead of Starbucks. My goal was $150,000, enough for a 20% down payment on a $750,000 house in a decent neighborhood. After 8 years of discipline, sacrifice, and saying no to myself over and over again, I had $140,312.67. I was so close I could taste it. I had already toured 3 houses. The third one was perfect, a craftsman-style home with a wraparound porch, hardwood floors, and a backyard with space for a garden. The asking price was $735,000. I planned to make an offer the week after Dad's birthday party. Here's the thing that haunts me. 2 years before everything fell apart, I almost removed my father from that account. I was updating my financial information, and the bank representative asked if I wanted to change the co-owner status. I hesitated. Then I called my dad to tell him, and his voice turned cold. "You don't trust your own father? After everything I've done for you?" I apologized. I left his name on the account. That decision cost me $140,312.67. My father's 60th birthday party was held on a Saturday in early June at my parents' house in Lakewood. 20 guests filled the living room and backyard. Aunts, uncles, cousins, old family friends, neighbors who had known us for decades. The decorations were elegant. The food was catered. Paid for, I later learned, with money Derek had borrowed from somewhere. Everyone was dressed nicely, smiling, performing the role of happy functional family for an audience. My father gave a speech about gratitude and legacy. My mother gazed at him adoringly. Derek stood beside them, introduced to everyone as our up-and-coming real estate investor. No one mentioned that his last 3 investments had failed. No one mentioned that I had funded 2 of them. I sat in the corner, nursing a glass of wine, watching the performance. Several relatives asked me the usual questions. When are you getting married? Still renting? No house yet? I smiled and deflected. What I noticed, what I couldn't stop noticing, was the way my father and Derek kept huddling together throughout the party. They'd whisper, glance at me, then look away when I caught their eyes. Something was happening, something I wasn't supposed to see. Near the end of the party, my Aunt Helen pulled me aside. She was my father's older sister, 65 years old, the only member of my extended family who had ever acknowledged that I gave too much. She squeezed my hand. "Renee, sweetheart, you've given enough. Be careful." I laughed it off. "Careful of what, Aunt Helen?" She didn't answer. She just looked at me with something I couldn't name, pity, maybe, or forewarning. 3 days later, I understood. It was a Tuesday morning when my world collapsed. I was at my desk at DataSphere reviewing quarterly analytics reports when my phone buzzed with an email notification. The subject line read, "Transaction Confirmation, Mountain West, Federal." I assumed it was spam. Phishing attempts that mimicked bank communications were common enough. I was about to delete it when something made me pause. The account number in the preview matched mine. I opened my banking app. Savings account. Balance, $0. For a full 30 seconds, I couldn't breathe. I stared at the screen, certain there had been some mistake, a glitch, a display error, something. I called Mountain West Federal's customer service line with shaking hands. The representative was polite, professional, utterly unhelpful in the way only financial institutions can be. Ma'am, I can confirm that a transfer of $140,312.67 was processed yesterday from your savings account to an external account. The transaction was authorized by the co-owner of the account, Mr. Richard Chapman. That's my father. Yes, ma'am. As a joint account holder, he has full authorization to— I didn't approve this transfer. I didn't know about it. A pause. Ma'am, our records show the transaction was confirmed via electronic signature. Would you like me to email you the confirmation documentation? Yes, please. I hung up and sat in my cubicle, staring at nothing. 8 years. 8 years of sacrifice, discipline, and dreaming, transferred away in a single click by the man who was supposed to protect me. The email arrived 3 minutes later. I opened the attachment and saw my name on the electronic signature line, except I had never signed anything. My father hadn't just stolen my money, he had forged my identity to do it. I called my father from the parking garage of my office building. I needed privacy for this conversation. I needed to hear his voice when he explained. He answered on the second ring. Renee, I was expecting your call. No guilt, no hesitation, just calm acknowledgement, like we were discussing the weather. Dad, my voice cracked. The money, my savings, all of it. Yes, I transferred it. Why? He sighed, the way he always did when he thought I was being difficult. Derek was in trouble, Renee. His investment property fell through. He owed the bank $120,000. They were going to foreclose. I had to help him. With my money? Family money, he corrected. I put Derek's future first. I used part of it to pay down his debt and the rest as a down payment on a new apartment for him. A fresh start. That was everything I had. 8 years of saving. I was going to buy a house. And you still can, he interrupted. You have a good job. You're smart. You'll earn it back in no time. Derek doesn't have your advantages. He needs support. I heard my mother's voice in the background. Tell her it's for the family. She'll understand. Renee. My father's tone shifted, becoming the authoritative banker voice I'd known all my life. I raised you for 18 years, fed you, clothed you, paid for your education. This is what family does. We share, we sacrifice. I needed that money more than you did. Something cold and clear settled in my chest. You forged my signature, Dad, on the electronic confirmation. Silence. I didn't approve that transfer. The bank has documentation with my name on it, documentation I never signed. More silence. Then, you're overreacting. I wasn't. That night, I called Marcus Webb. Marcus and I had been friends since college. We'd met in an economics class freshman year and stayed in touch through graduations, career changes, and life's chaos. He was now a lawyer specializing in financial fraud cases, working at a mid-sized firm in downtown Denver. Renee? His voice was warm when he answered. It's been months. What's going on? I told him everything. The account, the transfer, the forged signature, the phone call with my father. When I finished, there was a long pause. Renee, this is serious, like potentially felony-level serious. What do you mean? Your father being a co-owner complicates things, but it doesn't give him the right to forge your signature on authorization documents. If he created a false electronic signature to make the transfer appear legitimate, that's forgery. Combined with the unauthorized nature of the transfer, we're looking at potential charges of bank fraud and identity theft. My stomach dropped. I don't want to send my father to prison. I understand. But you need to know your options. Marcus's voice was gentle but firm. Here's what matters right now. Mountain West Federal has a 72-hour window for disputing suspicious transactions. After that, the transfer gets classified as confirmed in their system, and recovering the funds becomes much harder. I checked the time on my phone. The transfer had been processed Tuesday morning. It was now Tuesday night. I have less than 48 hours. Yes, and Renee, he paused, you mentioned an email with your electronic signature. Do you still have it? Yes. Forward it to me. And if you know anyone who does digital forensics, have them look at the metadata. If that signature was created from a different device than yours, that's evidence of forgery. I knew someone. Carla Diaz was a senior digital forensics specialist at Datasphere. We'd worked together on data integrity projects for 2 years, and I trusted her expertise completely. Wednesday morning, I caught her before our department meeting. Carla, I need a favor, a personal one. She looked at my face. I hadn't slept, and I knew it showed, and immediately nodded. What do you need? I forwarded her the bank's confirmation email with the electronic signature. Can you analyze the metadata? Tell me where this signature originated? It took her less than an hour. Renee, Carla's voice was careful when she called me into her office. This signature wasn't generated from any of your devices. The metadata shows it was created on a machine with a completely different IP address, residential, Denver area, but definitely not your home or phone. Can you tell whose machine? She pulled up her analysis on the screen. The IP traces back to a residential address in Lakewood, my parents' house. There's more, Carla continued. The timestamp on the signature is 3:47 a.m. Monday morning. Were you awake at 3:47 a.m. on Monday? No. Then someone accessed your banking portal and created this signature while you were asleep. Renee. She turned to face me directly. This is identity theft. Textbook identity theft. Whoever did this forged your digital identity to authorize a transaction you never approved. I sat in her office, holding the printed forensic report, feeling the weight of it in my hands. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was criminal. I'm going to need this documented officially, I said. Can you write up a formal report? Carla nodded. I'll have it to you by end of day. And Renee? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. I had 40 hours left. That Wednesday night, I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by evidence of my own exploitation. On my laptop screen, the spreadsheet documenting $87,000 I'd given my family over 10 years. On my coffee table, Carla's forensic report proving the signature forgery. On my phone, 17 missed calls from my mother.